Today, we do an experiment. We will have a complete full session on PowerPoint, not using PowerPoint, but paper and marker. Once, 3 years ago, more or less, in a training, I said, well, who needs PowerPoint? He didn't have PowerPoint either. And somebody said, yeah, but Aristotle, he had a stick and he painted images in the sand. And I answered, exactly, images. Welcome to another session number 13 Q&A session on public speaking. Welcome, you're coming in right now. Welcome to PowerPoint, death by PowerPoint, or more power to your point. That is the question. It's almost like Shakespeare, to be or not to be. Of course, always ask your questions again. Always ask your questions. I'm a fanatic PowerPointer for exactly 25 years. I'm 25 years with PowerPoint, and in over 25 years, my perception and the way I use PowerPoint has evolved and changed completely. I still use it today. I'm a fan of it still today, but of course, the way you use it, that can be very different from many people, the way that many people use it. Until you have the first question here today, hi everyone, 5 people in the call already. The first reflection here. Think about the last documentary you've seen. Any documentary on Netflix, Amazon Prime, normal TV, on YouTube. Hi, Siegfried. Think about any documentary you see. Think about lion babies in the Serengeti. Think about a documentary you've seen about lion babies in the Serengeti. What do you see? Lion babies! Yoo-hoo! That was a hi Juan. That was a tricky question. What do you see in a documentary on lion babies? Lion babies, exactly. What else do you see? Well, the Serengeti. And what do you hear? Hi everyone. Oh! You hear the lion babies. And what else do you hear? You hear the voice of the speaker. And where's the voice? In the off screen. Have you ever seen in your life a documentary on Netflix now or anywhere else in the world on lion babies in the Serengeti where they put bullet points on top talking about the reproduction behavior of lions in the Serengeti? Dude, man, this is nuts. Did you know that our human brain is absolutely incapable, we just cannot do it, to read and listen at the same time? It just doesn't work. You can only read and listen at the same time when it's completely synchronized. But that is like I read out to you rhetoric, the public speaking game, trademark. Did you know that for trademark, you don't need a real, okay. Good afternoon, Maura. Good afternoon, everybody. Nature Sounds, and of course, it's a Serengeti documentary. So the brain cannot read and listen at the same time. So the first thing if you don't do it yet, because I've been asking for PowerPoint presentations in my trainings for more than a decade. And once I received an email by one person, we're talking about a couple of thousands of people. Once I received an email and that guy said, Florian, thank you for the homework to do some PowerPoint here. One thing, can I send you 2 versions? One for which I would normally sit in the meeting room and it's a handout presentation, and the other one to present. Would that be possible? Guys, I can't say that, but I had a rhetorical orgasm. Once I received that. So the first thing with PowerPoint, think about documentary. We cannot read and listen at the same time. You have PowerPoint. Whenever you sit in the meeting room, do this presentation. What could it be? This is the version I call handout presentation. I call it handout. For those who haven't been here, this is a PowerPoint session without PowerPoint. Yoo-hoo! This is the handout presentation to read. I can read my mind map. This is to read. And every time you stand up and speak in front of an audience with a screen, in the future, whatever you do a second one, and this one I call the screen version. So what I always do when I stand up, I always have screen slides. The difference, the big difference here, my friends, the big difference is with the handout presentation, with any handout slide, I replace what I say. Can you tell me then why I'm there as a speaker? I'm more useless again than an ashtray on a motorbike. Every time the speaker is the power. Your speech is the power. Your rhetoric is power, not your stupid slides. Every time you stand up and speak, the screen slides make sure you complement your speech. Handout, you replace. You're useless. Screen, you complement your speech. And then I learned you have more power in your point. That was a long introduction. Hi, everyone. 6 minutes already in the game. Do you have a question on PowerPoint? The first reflection is when you have a screen that you present with, make screen slides which complement the speech but not replace it. Paul, how's it going? Thank goodness I'm here at the right time. Great. Every time at 6 p.m. CET, Paul. Do you have any question PowerPoint? Come on, guys. It's impossible that you have no question on slides at all. In the meantime, what is the first slide of a conference speaker? What's normally a first slide in any PowerPoint presentation? By the way, why don't I say keynote? I've done it for more than a decade. I received 3 keynote presentations, and even Apple users use PowerPoint. So PowerPoint is just so present. That's why I call everything PowerPoint. I refer to slides in general, of course. A title slide more, exactly. Can you give me elements of a normal title slide that you see on a title slide? In the meantime, I use my high technology paper and pens. Hey, Laszlo, date, location. Anything that's just a second, Laszlo, you say, hey, Flo, above how many minutes of presentation you recommend using PowerPoint? Park it, please. Yeah, well, keynote, forget it. It's the same. I'm talking about slides. What comes on a title slide? More or less like this. You have a logo. Logo is so important, man. Our logo is so cool. We love our logo. And then, of course, you have title, descriptive, technical, boring, with normally a subtitle, even more boring than the title itself. Then you have I have dyslexia. Sometimes I turn it around. You have the location because people do not know that they are in Prague or in Moscow or in Miami. And then you have the date because people do not know the date. Then you have, I love that, copyright or commercially confidential. At a conference with 700 people, commercially confidential. Click Instagram. And then I love I know I'm on slide number 1. Whew. This is a title slide. Every time a title slide pops up at a conference speaker's presentation, the audience has already fallen asleep. What could I use instead of a normal title slide? What slides could I use? What kinds of slides could I use? What do you think instead of a title slide, which is boring? By the way, as long as there's Pilsner Urquell, I'm from Bavaria, Czech and Bavarians, we love each other, the world is still okay. Okay, what kind of slide could I use as a title slide? The first slide that pops up. An image. Would you say, Albert, to use a full screen image or a small image? That was a rhetorical question. I answered myself because it was so stupid. Always go full screen. I use metaphorical slides. That's one of 2 patterns I use as a title slide. I use either a metaphorical, huge, beautiful image that drills the audience into my topic. What else? Always full screen. Always kill the white frame. All white, kill it. White is a ghost. It's a competitor of your content. Do you know that the hexadecimal number of white is FFF, FFF? Or in red, green, blue, 255, 255, 255. All colors in the world, white. Always a competitor. Get rid of it, full screen. What a photo. Yeah, we have it, a story start slide image. Exactly, Laszlo. But here we go. The second pattern I use when I start with a story. What's the power of the story? The audience can reflect on it, identify with, imagine in themselves. Sometimes I don't want to standardize brains with an image, Laszlo. That's why that is the moment when I use a black slide. Everything black, everything black. There is no slide. I normally, all my keynotes, all of them, I start with a black slide. So funny, sometimes the tech guy thinks the projector is broken. Nah, dude, it's just a black slide. You could use your black thing here. Don't do it. Put your slides in the flow. Much less hassle when you present with your stage fright. You don't want to think about when to push any button. Plus, when you push back, you come back to your slide. I want to put it in my flows. I use a lot of black slides. Story, Laszlo, I use black slides. I don't show normally an image because I want to create images in the minds of people. So what I use, that's a two pattern that I use. But what can we do? I use either a black slide or a metaphorical image that intrigues them. What else? What questions? What else? Oh yeah, how high? Oh, that's a name that's tricky for me. Yeah, my name is Florian Mück. That's also tricky. Ayakaye Temitope. Is that okay? Ayata. I have dyslexia. This is so hard. Ayakaye Temitope. Hi, Florian. What if you forget details and other things when you use the screen version of PowerPoint? If you don't know your shit, don't present your shit. That's my opinion. It's your topic. It's your stuff. It's your blood. It's your life. It's your DNA. It's everything you are. Let's see. If you forget details. One of my favorite slides, because every screen slide that I use complements my speech. But mostly I use them also for my notes, but in a creative way. The other day I presented the topic ethos with you together. We did Q&A on ethos, credibility. And I said, in this session, I want you to, just a second, this is a PowerPoint session without PowerPoint. You see, I want you to rage against any doubt in your audience. So what I do on a screen slide would be, I have rage, I would have an acronym. If it's an acronym with a word that already exists, it's called acronym with a P. Rage. Now I know that helps me, Ayakaye, reputation, authority, common ground, empathy. I know my words, but the audience doesn't, so they have to listen to me. I'm the speaker. They are my audience. I don't want them to read. But I use acronyms, for instance, or acronyms, to help me to remember my stuff. That's one of the techniques I use. If I have 3 points that I want to make, 3 points on one slide, how many slides do I use in a screen version? I have 3 points on a slide in a handout. How many slides do I use in a screen version? Hey, Connor, back again. Tammy, thank you. That makes my life so easy. I don't want them to read. So wise. Yeah, that's it's so common sense. But Paul, like Voltaire says, common sense is not so common. Now, just to my question, I just asked, guys. I have 3 points on a handout slide, typical. 3 blocks, maybe 3 graphs. 3 things I want to talk about. How many slides do I show in a screen presentation? 3, exactly. Job and all the others. I use 3 slides. Are you aware of the fact that a screen slide does not cost any cent? And this is 2 cents even. It doesn't cost 2 cents. A screen slide doesn't cost money. Why do people always put everything they have in one slide? Don't get it. Common sense is not so common, Paul. Use 3 clicks. There is this stupid rule from the 20th century. I was with KPMG, the place to be, for 8,013 days. For 3,013 days. 3,013 days. I didn't speak English. I didn't speak Spanish. I didn't speak German. I spoke PowerPoint. And there was this stupid rule. They said, yeah, 1.5 minutes per slide. This is so crazy. This is to read. But I want to complement my speech with screen slides. Connor, 3 is the number. Fill in the 3 is the magic number. But I do 3 magical slides. I do 3 magical slides because then I use a signpost, Connor, a structural signpost. So there are 3 graphs that are really of interest for us. In that moment, the people know there are 3 graphs coming, and then I have click, 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 and I always have the focus. The whole thing here with screen slides, with your audience, everything you want to achieve all the time is 100% this one. Connor, before I said this is a PowerPoint session without using PowerPoint. Focus, focus, focus. 3 times the same word. What is the rhetorical device? Epizeuxis. Winston Churchill used it. Never give in, never give in, never, 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 never give in. He used it 4 times because it's Winston. 3 is the magic number. Of course, Connor, it is the magic number. Any other reflections on PowerPoint? What do you think? What do you think, guys? I think about transitions. What I mean is there's one slide and then there's a transition which goes slowly, like from left to right or from top to bottom or some dissolving. What do you think about effects like this? What do I think about it? Right now, I'm talking all about offline, Nadine, when I'm presenting with the stage and audience. Many things are parallel in presenting in a webinar, for instance. But to the question, what do you think I like about transitions in slides? Exactly, Maura, thank you. In the end, it's all the same stuff anyway. What do you think I think about transitions? Siegfried Hack, merci beaucoup, mon ami français. Je veux apprendre le français. I think it's really itchy. What do you think about transitions? Why do you think transitions are bad? Nope, Connor, this is no time for funny comments. This is time for improving ourselves with fun. No, this is not the reason. Okay, the reason is, think about the humorous pattern of saying the unexpected. Rodney Dangerfield, one of my great guys, the gray hair guy, Rodney Dangerfield, dead with his big eyes. A couple of years back, he died. My wife and I were happy for 20 years, and then we met. I moved to the most exciting town in the United States, Boise, Idaho. Punch. Humor, the unexpected humorous pattern deviating from the expected is an example for the punchline. You want punch in humor, and I want punch in PowerPoint, because many times I build up a slide and then I click on purpose with humorous effect. And then sometimes I forget it when I use the slides of my participants in the training, and then there's still this stupid slow transition and all the punch is gone. That's the reason. I want punch. You want punch in a pub. Yeah, talking about pub, Paul. Today is check day. Don Rickles. Yeah, exactly. Don Rickles. Amazing. Oh, by the way, what I just did with the punchline, that is something that people never do. Any other question? And if I, by the way, that was something Connor Neal here, amazing leader, tuber with his own channel. We always talk about this thing, the lessons learned in YouTube Live, because every day we are learning. One thing is, because I cannot follow up on all the comments all the time and all the questions. So when I forget about your question, just put it again. There's no problem with that. Now, you see, now was a moment of silence because I read the comments. But Connor and Paul, they're both from Ireland. Now, they will talk here about Irish stuff. Connor and Paul is from Cork. Do you rely on their computer or always bring your own? Keynote speaking means mostly there is a tech team that wants the presentations beforehand. I, for instance, I have a personal brand which I created 2 years ago with an amazing agency from Barcelona. They're called Mucho. What are you doing? Mucho. What's your name? Mucho. What are you doing? Mucho. Great name. Job Vives, you know them. And I have my own font. It's a GT Walsheim font from Switzerland. I don't know. Now, nobody has this font. So if I gave my presentation to them, my font would be gone. So I always use a PDF, and I can send a PDF to them. Since I don't use animations, video, sound, nothing, I'm the speaker. I can sing With or Without You for my Irish friends. PDF is okay. In any other case, when I can avoid it, I absolutely make sure it's my MacBook Pro. That's for sure. Your tech, you're always safer. Connor, adapting to online and thoughts on live stream 14, what lessons learned? What would you do if you did next week? But that takes me totally away now, Connor. I will park that. Later I write it down because now we're with PowerPoint. Let's stick to the theme, PowerPoint. Yeah, there's a big thing you can all improve, because I know all generalizations are false, including this one, Mark Twain. But I have statistical proof in my trainings with thousands, 10,800, with thousands of people. When people present with slides, the normal procedure is click, and here you see my click, and here you see the action plan for 21, click, and here's our team that will make it all happen, click. What people do is, I call it click and speak. Click and speak is the normal way people present. Now, much more powerful is when you turn it around and you do speak and click. Think about the last movie you've seen. Any movie. Right now, many people watch many movies. Netflix is very happy. While the scene is still in the kitchen, you already hear the sound of the noise in the street. They overlap visual and audio. Filmmakers overlap visual and audio, so they have smooth transitions. I do the same in PowerPoint. When I present with slides, and Tammy, then that means you have to know your slides and your content, of course. I say something like, but what can the situation look like tomorrow? But there is more to it. But what can we do? Who is the team behind this? And this is speak and click. You lead your slides. You're not following behind your slides like a slave. You're not a slave of your slides. You lead them. Yeah, Siegfried, amazing. It's so cool. What do you do with remote in between slide? What do you do with remote in between slide? Yeah, that one, you mean, do I put it away? In my keynotes, I use slides, I use flip chart, and I use props. The last session number 12 was about props. So I use all three of them. There's no way I could have a 90-minute or 60-minute plan for every single second, with every single deed, with all the spontaneity, with the audience, with interaction, everything, to know, oh, where do I have to put my remote? You know what, Juan? I do it in Spanish, sobre la marcha. It's only important to know where you put it down. Find it back fast. This is uncomfortable moments. So where's my remote? That is stupid, but it happens. Your transition is verbal, exactly, speak and click. And then I click. Every slide needs an introduction, otherwise the audience introduces the slide to themselves, and it's hard to win back the attention. Yeah, but Paul, what you're saying is what you say as an experienced speaker. I mean, I've had thousands of people in trainings. I'd say 98%, and I'm not exaggerating, it's not a hyperbole, do click and speak. First, they don't know their slide set. They don't know that. Come on. Who knows their slides? They just send it somewhere, go somewhere to talk about it. They don't prepare. And even if they do, they forget it with the stage fright they have. They don't introduce the slides. Nah, that is your world because you're experienced. It's not the world out there. Nadine, there's a remote control which is integrated in a ring for someone who needs to use it as well as hands a lot. Yeah, Nadine, yeah, I want to see that. When I do this, that will be great. That will be great for my remote when I'm on fire. That will be so cool. You see, I spent 10,000 hours training people. Paul, you've seen. That's the difference. That's the difference. What about preparation? What about your tech? Do you have your own tech or do you use their tech? Another rhetorical question. You use your tech. Never use their tech. Remote control, know your tech. And if you have to use theirs, prepare. The other day I said, be there at 7:30, make friends with the tech guys. You always have to prepare. How to integrate problems most elegantly into an online speech? Well, Nadine, we can have together with Connor, we could have a think tank group to talk about how to use slides, and because he has software. Talk to Connor, Nadine. Talk to Connor. Exactly, Maura. What works very good on slides, because it's not about handling, it's also about the content. What do you show and how? I've just published this book, 102 Visual Tips. Now, I created all these tips. I started 1.5 years ago with infographics on Instagram, and I put them on LinkedIn. And people like them, sometimes 5,000, 4,000 views and a lot of likes. And I thought, oh, that's cool. It is a combination of things. This infographics is a combination of 3 things. First, passion for public speaking, apparently, but then patterns. I spot patterns as a trainer. Paul, you for sure, you spotted many patterns in your life. Patterns of content, of delivery, all patterns. And patterns can be replicated. And third, PowerPoint. I love to create slides. And so I put them all into these infographics. And now my content, I put much more in infographics when I show screen slides. And what do I mean by infographics? I will show you. Looking back 20 years ago, does that sound familiar? Does that look familiar? Bullet point jihad. Ugh. But any text you have, any text, you can always put in visual structures. And these I call infographics. So you can put any text into structures that logically help the audience to understand your points. This is logos, the logic. It makes sense. This here, we had initiative, and there's 3 outcomes out of this initiative. And I can have such a slide, and I put one word, or a number here and a word to break monotony. but only one number. Time, you have to know your number. And that I do all the time. You can do it from top to bottom, from left to right, from bottom to top. One of my favorite ones, every time I receive a slide, whoops, that was wrong. Every time I receive a slide with 6 bullet points, I love to put it in a pyramid, because a pyramid is 6, and a pyramid with one word, or numbers, it always is more visual, it sticks. It takes away you can use color here, takes away the white background. White is a ghost. Get rid of your white. White is a competitor. So I use a lot of these infographics to show very simply complex stuff on slides. Do you prepare your slides for right-handed or left-handed people? Paul, that is such a deep question. I have never in my life, 46 years, thought about that. I think that we cannot really discuss here in depth, but we can have a talk about this, because I do it for Western Europeans reading from left to right. I don't prepare them for Arabic writing people from right to left. That's for sure. But I've never thought about left or right-handed. Amazing. Good thing to give it a thought. What do you think about stock photos? These images, stock images, databases. Yeah, big silence here. Well, you know my answer. They suck too. Do you know these white figurines with the red colors? I vomit every time I see them, mentally, of course. Now, I only use beautiful images. And for those of you, it's now a quite well-known page already. But for those who do not know it yet, unsplash.com. In case you don't know it, when you see this in the future, unsplash.com is for me the number one. Beautiful images, super high quality. You can use them for free. Please give the names of the originators to acknowledge their good work. It's amazing images. Coronavirus, which I will not mention anymore. I would say what I always used to say in my trainings, cliche is Ebola. Stay away from Ebola. Everything that everyone else does, horrible. The typical vision slide, the vision slide. And you know what? I really want to know one thing. You have to give me that answer. How many people died when they do this selfie of this one person on top of the mountain helping his team member to get to the top? How many people died already doing this selfie? That is, well, we have a lot of things covered. I really think, Paul, about your left-handed, right-handed thing. This is it, actually. We covered a lot of topics. We covered preparation, no cliche, the first slide, create 2 slide decks, speak and click. What can we do in 34 minutes? Transitions out, you want punch, and now I really want to know, Nadine, how I'm going to do this with the ring when I'm on fire and destroy your ring. One ring after another. This, I cannot live without my new Logi anymore. You can program all of the 3 buttons and you can raise the music, and it's just so amazing. Oh, Connor, yeah, we're done here. Coolio, guys. Tomorrow, the topic will be opening. Everything about how to start a great speech. The opening. The foundation of your speech. So see you tomorrow. Thanks again to everyone. It's been great interacting with you, Paul. You put this in my mind. Nadine talked to Connor and me about online, offline use of PowerPoint. Great job. Siegfried, thanks. Job, everyone. See you tomorrow with opening. I know you're at home, so see you at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Hasta la vista.